Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Yeah, it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney.
Well, you know, they're forced to do the right thing. If Disney were Superman, bad PR is their kryptonite, which we have told you guys time and time again. So if you remember, we told you about the poor lady that died from, allergens. She was allergic to food at Raglan Road. And then we talked about how Disney was going to try to get out of the lawsuit and force arbitration. Well, now, after the mainstream media picked it up, which they were way late to that party, 6 weeks after, it got announced they were trying to do this. Now that the public opinion has not been good, they are deciding that, you know what, maybe we'll just go to court after all.
Yeah. This whole thing kind of surprised me because this was the one where they tried to get out of it with the Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, the terms of service.
And there was a lot of backlash because people were like, wait a minute, you agree to this and you can't sue them for anything. But I think the truth is like, I don't think Disney themselves really had anything to worry about. They actually did more harm than good by trying to get out of it, because this is 100% on the restaurant. Just because they leased their space from Disney doesn't mean Disney is responsible for them screwing up an order that led to her death. But
then Disney just, out of the frying pan into the fire, they just lit themselves with kerosene because they were being stupid and their lawyers were being Disney lawyers. And trust me, this is normal for Disney attorneys.
Current year, this is very normal.
And they have just put themselves in the crosshairs of the public opinion.
Yeah, because again, if they had said nothing and they just let this play out, it would have been fine. But all the mainstream media outlets were running with, oh my God, guys, if you subscribe to Disney Plus, you waive your right to sue Disney or any Disney-owned company for anything ever.
Everyone was talking about this. I can't tell you how many people come to me. Did you hear? Did you hear? Like my mom, did you hear? Yep. My kids, hey mom, did you hear about this? Just yesterday, my daughter's like, did you hear about that? I'm like, yes. They don't watch our videos. But I was like, yes, I know. And it was funny to me because the mainstream media was like they were like weeks late to it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the mainstream media finally caught up, because when we talked about it, people heard about it, but it wasn't the massive response they needed. And because the mainstream media started calling them out and everyone was like, what the hell? Now Disney's going to walk it back. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do. Woohoo. Okay, for those who don't know what happened, which I don't know how you wouldn't know for what happened at this point, there was a situation last October at Disney Springs. This doctor and her husband and his mother were at Raglan Road, and she had allergies to dairy and nuts, and she allegedly asked the wait staff, to make sure that she was given an allergen-free meal, because they read online that they were really good about that. Asked repeatedly, said, yeah, we can do that. When the food came out, apparently it didn't have the little flags in it marking it allergen-free, but she assumed that, I already asked like how many times now, so that they wouldn't have given me food with the allergens in it. Right. But they did. And sadly, she was out, afterwards they were eating, she was out shopping with her mother-in-law, and then she collapsed, and they did administer EpiPen, but she still passed away, and she was only like 42.
Yeah, so doctor too. I mean, that's the fact that she was a doctor.
Yeah, I know. Happened. And then come late February, her husband, Jeffrey Piccolo, filed a lawsuit against the Raglan Road owners and Disney. Now, to be fair, like you said, Disney wasn't directly responsible for this.
No.
And sometimes lawyers will just file with everyone involved to see what they can get, right?
Yeah.
And Disney, could have probably just gone through it, and then they would probably, not have had that much against them because they didn't actually own the restaurant. However, Disney being Disney has to not only put their foot in their mouth, they had to put it in their mouth and shove it back out their own ass, because their lawyers, in their quest to try to, get out of this situation, not go to court, they tried to argue that because her husband in 2019 had done a free trial of Disney Plus and agreed to the terms of service on that Disney Plus free trial, it somehow means that you agree to arbitration for everything with Disney in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Which is concerning that would be the case if you did a free trial of anything. If you did something you didn't even know was owned by Disney, that you might be waiving your rights down the road, that if you have an accident that was not your fault at Disney parks, that they would try to say that they couldn't be sued. They're like, oh, we'll have to settle with our arbitration. That didn't go well. The media finally got hold of it. And now Disney is changing their tune.
Yeah, this is, it's just so weird that if they had just kept their mouths shut, I don't think they would have been found guilty at all.
Most people wouldn't even probably know about the lawsuit. No. I mean, we covered it. It was out there, but the mainstream media picking it up is what everybody was aware of. Yeah. It's been going on. Their argument to try to get it to arbitration, not allowed to go to court, was like the end of June, beginning of July. So it's been going on for months. Just that the mainstream media picked it up. So now they're forced to do something because, as we said before, Disney's Achilles heel is bad public relations, bad PR. Mm-hmm. So apparently, CNBC said the case is proceed in Florida. Josh D'Amaro had put out a statement saying, we believe the situation warrants a sensitive approach to expedite a resolution for the family who have experienced such a painful loss. As such, we've decided to waive our right to arbitration and have the matter proceed in court. You could have just done that in the first place. You could have never brought the arbitration thing up. You could have just, I mean, it might have been a case that they didn't know, sometimes the legal department's on one thing, but I can't think of something like this that they wouldn't have been notified.
Yeah, this is the same Disney that, pulled that crap with the King Charles clause or whatever when they were trying to fight Reedy Creek. And if they had just not played games, they might still have Reedy Creek.
Yeah. But instead of just working with people, they have to, we're going to piss all over this. And then they end up hurting themselves. Yeah. And that's what they did here. Do you believe for 1 minute Josh D'Amaro would be putting out a statement how we need to have a sensitive approach to this if they hadn't been caught? Because we've been talking about it since July. I know the media has been covering it since July about Disney's argument. I know that Florida Politics had it back in... that's August, but they talked about it back. These other sites talked about it way back when. Yeah. WW News Today was talking about it way back when. It's been going on. They didn't think that it needed to be a sensitive approach then. They didn't think they needed to expedite the resolution then. They're like, well, we're gonna waive our right to arbitration. But they keep insisting we have the right to arbitration. They didn't say we're not. That's ridiculous defense. No, we're choosing to do the right thing and waive our right to arbitration.
We're choosing to do the right thing.
This is good. I think the bigger picture here is because stuff like this and people being afraid of it, I think there's going to be stuff looked into about people putting terms of service and this kind of thing. I think there's going to be changes because you can't expect people to sign a terms of service agreement for Disney Plus and then waive the right to a court trial if someone dies. That's, that's unrelated to the Disney Plus streaming service. I mean, I have a feeling this is going to cause Disney a lot of problems, and other companies are trying to push this through. But I noticed how he worded it. We waived our right to arbitration. We were wrong. We waived that right. No, you were wrong. Your terms of service on Disney Plus should not be grounds for arbitration in this case anyway.
I let you win. We meant to do that.
It's a sensitive thing. We're going to expedite resolution.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it before the general public found out? Why did you have to take everybody coming at you for you to do anything?
And just like that, there will be somebody getting paid off. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a settlement, and then you will never hear about it again. Mm-hmm. Just a theory, because a lot of people.
They said it's going to court, so I don't know if it's going to turn out that way.
A lot of people get hurt or die. Unfortunately, on Disney property, it's like the busiest theme park, one of the busiest tourist attractions in the world. A lot of people get pushed through those gates, right? Things happen, unfortunately. And a lot of times you don't hear about it, or it comes out several months after the fact because of the police reports.
Yeah, people didn't even know it happened until later because, the police reports. And then the lawsuit was filed. And that's when I first heard about it, was the lawsuit. But my point is this, Disney was aware of it. They didn't think that it needed a sensitive approach. They didn't think they needed to expedite a resolution for the family.
No.
Until the general public got word of it, and then they were outraged. And again, he didn't say, it should have gone to court to begin with. No, we decided to be a bigger person and waive our right to arbitration. Therefore, claiming still that they were within their rights to demand arbitration. I don't think this should be looked into. The fact that if I agreed to terms of service to watch, a movie on some streaming service shouldn't mean that the company owns something else that I get, hurt from later and I can't sue them because I agreed to something that I thought had nothing to do with one thing, had nothing to do with the other. I mean, they make it so Disney parks, you have to use the My Disney Experience app. If you want to do anything to get the Genie Plus, Lightning Lanes, and all that, you have to. You're pretty much required to at this point in time. Now, they're going to argue, well, you don't have to. But if you want to do the things you want to do, you have to. Okay?
Yeah.
And then they said that he agreed to those terms of service as well. So if you go to the theme parks and you agree to use the app, you're agreeing to this too. That if something happens and it's not your fault at a Disney park and one of your family members gets seriously injured or dead, that you are agreeing that you will go to arbitration and they'll probably choose the arbitrator. And you'll go, and trust me, they have a lot of arbitrators wrapped around their finger. We talked to somebody who works with them. Yes. I know they do. And you will get nothing or get very little because you agreed to it by using the thing that they mandated pretty much for you to use at the parks. Yep. I can't think this is going to go without somebody looking into this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's wild. That is going to be the big issue for Disney is, again, because you shot your mouths off and you thought that you were Disney and you were bigger and you were above the law and you're whatever. Now you're going to be in bigger trouble. Yeah,
and the thing is, again, like if the mainstream media hadn't caught it, we talked about it back in July. If they hadn't caught it, people wouldn't even have been aware of it. Nope. And now everybody's aware of it. So now everybody's like, wait a minute. So now I'm hoping this gets examined by whoever's in charge of overseeing this kind of thing and being like, wait, people shouldn't be having to sign the rights away just to use, a streaming service. No. This is ridiculous. And I can see it if in regards to the streaming service, you want to challenge them on their payments or something. But someone died 4 years later at that time. And this is what happened. And again, they only apologized because they got caught.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.